gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the StarSeries I-League Season 6 Grand Final between none other than ENCE and Vega Squadron, with Vega Squadron stealing away that first map in what was a fantastic comeback, or I guess you could say maybe a bit of a choke from ENCE.
Yeah, I guess a good mixture of both, a healthy dose. But yeah, but then again, that's kind of how Vega Squadron have been doing it. They have been scrappy. They have been grinding out rounds every now and again for the most unlikely scenarios. I mean, as we saw through the highlight reel of that match, seeing going back to the first half, we had Crush, winning out that 1v2 on the big flag. Like, a lot of crazy rounds that Vega are able to scrape together in their favor. And, I mean, it might not be the most reliable thing to rely on for most teams, but Vega have been able to do it the entire tournament. So you can't really, say that it's a fluke at this point.
Yeah, it was definitely outlined that one of those, I guess, pressure points for ENCE was on their T side when they're getting the bomb down, how much in the flurry that Vega are willing to fight, right? They're not going to let you reposition. They want to take you out then and there, and that continued, and that was a big a point of contention, and one of the big reasons why Vega were able to get across the line there. Also, throughout the game, we did see a lot of scrappy buys. We did see a lot of low buys coming in, and from both teams. It wasn't like ENCE were happy to roll over. The first stages of that matchup looked like it was going to be a back-and-forth affair the whole time with force buy after force buy. A couple of points, maybe some that haven't been outlined if I've done my research correctly, which...
You'd hope so.
Usually I don't. The coach for Vega Squadron is Fierce.
Fierce, yeah.
And he used to be a 1.6 player, played a little bit of CSGO. He played for Russian team, well, which is also a Swedish team, but organization, Big Grip.
Big Grip, yeah, that's an old one.
So that's rolling back the years. He's got a bit of experience with the old Counter-Strikes.
Yeah, he also has the manager of Vega, which is LK. Also used to be their coach at one point. He's a former player from Z Nation, which is obviously where Flamey started out
Flame Dogger.
His career as well. And players like Blade in there as well. So there is some Counter-Strike knowledge to be had on I guess behind the chairs of Vega Squadron as well. If there were to come a situation where the players don't really know what to make of themselves.
Here's what I'm going to do.
Do tell.
If Vega Squadron win this final, next time I go back to Australia, which is actually pretty soon.
Going to buy a shark.
I'm going to buy a plushy great white shark for Hutchie.
So you can swap out the blue whale?
Give him that instead
whale
of the whale shark. Because the great white is the scariest shark ever.
Is it, though?
Well, I don't know. If we're going prehistoric.
Megalodon?
Yeah, well, the great white modern day shark.
Yeah.
That's a scary beast.
I think all sharks are scary, even the ones that don't really bite you.
Well, gummy sharks aren't very scary. And whale sharks are not really scary.
No, I mean, I still wouldn't feel comfortable. I mean, if that whale shark slaps you, right? Like, you could be in for a bit of a spin down.
Who would win out of a killer whale? Killer whale and a great white.
I think killer whales are the ones that just wreck everything.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I think they're bigger than great whites too, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, by I think a pretty significant margin as well, actually. But they just kind of like ram into other...
Yeah, they throw seals up in the air, don't they? And then they die on the impact of the water. That's pretty cool. I got a question for you.
Go nuts.
Do you know why 6 is scared of 7?
Because 7, 8, 9?
Yep, that's where I was going with that one. That's an oldie but a goodie.
Classic one.
Yeah, I'm trying to work out different like name puns that I can crowbar into the cast to be witty and smart like Matt does, but I'm not as quick as Matt.
It's tough, man. The only one I could see having any potential on the side of ENCE would probably, well, I mean, you did your best to make X7 work, right?
Yeah.
I think Ariel.
I did a quick one with Ariel. Yeah. I did one with Alu.
Like alluding to something or alluing to something?
I said he was elusive.
Oh, yeah, that's right. There you have it.
Matt did the really good one with Alouette Car. That one was really good.
Right up his wheelhouse as well.
That was so good. And I have one for Crush. I don't think it's very good, but we'll see what happens when we get there.
Crush stomps on something. Is that it? As easy as that?
Seeing the huddle come in, knife round has been done and dusted, and we will have Vega Squadron starting on the CT side. In the last 2 showings on this map, Chopper has actually shown up. In the earlier stages of this tournament, during the Swiss Best of 1, Chopper was a no-show. We were coming up with terms for, I think we've gone with an impotent map, and this was one for him throughout the early stages, but he seems to have tapered off, and that's been fixed. He's been playing up to a better standard.
He's at a opposite trajectory, actually, from what he did at the major. Obviously, in the initial stages, he was pretty much the hard carry for Vega Squadron, and once I guess the final stages started coming in, he petered off significantly and just wasn't able to repeat his performances, and that obviously it took a bit of a beating at Vega, just overall performance. at the event. This time around, he had a weak group stage, but luckily carried through by his teammates. And once the playoffs got going, he's been back to his usual ways.
Yeah, I think Tony Black is the one who has had the most impact in the games where we didn't see them winning, right?
Yeah.
Like in this last map, he's a perfect example versus NRG. He honestly had a fantastic game as well. So we're seeing more depth of this team the more we get to see them play.
Yeah, it's almost like you'd think that they should be. I guess they're one of those teams who aren't excelling in online qualifiers, and they're not at the stage where they're getting invites for things unless other teams drop out. And that's really what's hurting them because, yeah, I mean, we're seeing more and more out of them. I've been so surprised by Tony Black from game to game, really. I keep expecting his performance to dip off, but it's not.
The change of name, isn't that ridiculous that it's kind of revitalized the player? He was very young when he was playing on the
Na'Vi squad?
Yeah, as Kabakan.
But that's the thing, right? Like, you've already been in such a household name as Na'Vi. Obviously, most people won't know Kabakan from the Na'Vi days because it was so early on in CSGO, but I feel like at that point you've been in enough solid orgs or solid teams that name is going to stick with you for the rest of your days.
Sure. Apparently, the rationale is because it's literally just a mental thing. He felt he played so poorly when he was under that banner that changing name was the option here to mentally reset him. And
it's worked.
Yeah, it has. Which
Weirdly
is
enough, I can kind of get behind that. You know, when you're playing gathers or pickup games and what have you, and you would at least back in 1.6 and CSS days, it would typical to have like a go-to fake nick when you were playing versus.
Sure. Yeah.
It's like a real would be Indiana Jones and things like that. And I think Rolf routine was that obviously of the NIP fame.
Yes.
And everyone had that kind of a go-to. And usually I find myself playing better whenever I have one of those going. For some reason,
it's like I play fantastically when I don't stream, but as soon as I whack that
bad boy
that live button on, I'm terrible. So trust me. All right, we're gonna get this one underway. We are ticking down on freeze time now. Huddles have been done. Headsets are on. Buy has come in. Let's kick off the second map here, which will be Vega Squadron's choice in this best of 5 grand final. 5 sets of armor on the sides of Vega Squadron, and you can see the likes of ENCE, a little bit of utility for Alexi to be the in-game leader. They will do the standard, have a little peek out the window from Chopper there, see if there's much information to be gathered. But aggressively down Banana is JR. He's more than happy to be brazen and peek in this position, seeing if he can find a head of any unsuspecting ENCE players. So far, nothing's been offered up, and we will stay on board with him as now the information has been gathered. It is a slow round. ENCE do like to do this on the pistol. They do like to just spread across, get the map control, make sure you can't push, and then they'll go for an execution from there.
Thing is, like, having to deal with JR and Banana is going to be so tough for them because he's going to do this, exactly what he's doing right now, over and over again until he just gets put into the ground. He's not the kind of player who actually feigns off and falls back immediately towards the bomb site. And even later on in this round, you're going to see JR, he's moving back into it. There's no resting point for ENCE where they can feel like, okay, we've actually gotten Banana control.
Look at this. This is going to be such a difficult position to be expecting if they think top Banana's already clear. And because of that, they've been able to send 4 players over towards the A bomb site. Little do they know that the bomb is actually at the top of Banana, and if JR isn't careful, he steps too wide, he will be punished by that boost. It will be mid-control being garnered over towards A, and they're going for a mid to B right now, as in the hands of Hutchie they run. He's not going to be able to get that much damage done. Pushed off of the position, and now the mid to B is on. They swarm him, and Ariel gets the kill. Now this puts a lot of pressure on JR, who may opt to allow them to sneak past here. Instead, drops the bomb. The call's in, the rotation can come, and from Banana, swarm of players from ENCE try to take him down. Eventually, Ariel again will find the kill. Alexi goes down in transition. Now, this is where it gets chaotic. There isn't enough time on the board. ENCE need to get this down quickly. The harassment of Vega stands true once more as Tony pushes in. Ariel finds another, and the jewels are now falling in the favor. But is there enough time? He can't get the bomb down. He doesn't have enough. Ariel running out. He's going to take the fight, and Chopper, instead of waiting, instead of hiding, offers his head up, and the round goes to ENCE. That one, these are just all these post plants, all once the bomb site is controlled. I think that must have been what ENCE talked about. We have to take these jewels. We have to be ready to fight because Vega don't stop coming.
They really don't. I mean, you can make a pretty convincing case that Chopper in that scenario should just wait out until he hears a bomb being attempted to be planted at the very least, right? But I think at that point you're just kind of caught up in the moment.
Imagine the comms at that point as well, man. Like time, and like, oh, it's just all over the place. Those are the situations you want to avoid.
Do you think the comms on Vega is going time, or is it just like run at him?
I don't know. Maybe they're just
like
roaring.
he has to plan.
I couldn't imagine. That's not a situation I ever want to be in.
Nonetheless, though, we do see though I can see a very well-painted picture of how Vega are going to approach this CT side. It's going to be aggressive. JR is going to be lurking about there in Banana for the better time of it. And, I mean, well, we're not seeing it this time around. Hoochie has shown that he is willing to go aggressive as well. And that's an unfortunate timing to find. Alexi just jumps past Hoochie as the initial line of defense. Finds Crush. That's an easy bomb site take for ENCE.
Now the question is, do you just want to hold on to the upgraded armor and pistols for Vega Squadron? Because getting back into bomb sites on a map like this is no easy feat. Looks like they will opt to hold on to the upgraded weaponry and give themselves another shot in the following rounds. Alu says no, we'll find the kill. Tony Black almost getting himself an AK-47 for free, which would be a lovely find.
Instead, it's going to be on Chopper and JR to see if they can hold on to what they have. They have been tagged up pretty significantly. 33 HP to their names. Sergey. Played with the idea of taking the peek up Banana, but it's just going to leave it for another time.
Very important all 5 members stay alive for ENCE, especially when you're trying to build this economy. And it is important once more to keep those members alive, because if you can keep those SMGs up, it means you get that bonus round in the first, and the gun round from Vega will be less than optimal.
Absolutely. Vega, though, still within a shot of doing some damage here. Chopper with that 5.7 in armor. JR with the Deagle. And again, would expect JR to push aggressively up towards Banana. We haven't seen too many double nades up there early on. Mainly Molotovs, which is kind of the standard way of going in about it for teams. But I feel like if you're playing against a player like JR, and he's been doing this so relentlessly on every game of Inferno Vega has had, that you need to start dishing out that AG pretty early. It's actually a pretty big likelihood of you finding something. JR, again, this is something JR is really good at, though. Like, as aggressive as he is, once he steps back, he doesn't fall too far back, so he's kind of segmenting every push and every area of the map that ENCE can feel comfortable moving forward into, which, again, makes it time pass by a pretty significant margin.
Yeah, the cool thing about it is when that utility, like we just saw, 3 nades towards sandbags, multiple Molotovs used, when that's expended, he has the balls to go back and take that map control, which is a massive risk. Let's not mince words about that. But if he can find the information, it allows them to hedge bets and cheat players over to the other bomb site.
Yeah. Now we're seeing something that the E-bomb side have been known to do. It's aggressive push through apps and also into CPL. They're not going to find frag off of it. Instead, it's going to be ENCE to do quite a bit of significant damage. They're going to find 3 kills in the span of 5 seconds. And another bomb site being taken. But Vega, you know, they're not about Banana aggression only. They can push out pretty much from every opening at the map. Well, for this time, JR and Tony Black might just be looking to find some exit kills. JR does find one. It's going to be tough to grab a weapon. Ooh!
Hello.
Here we are. That's a sign of things to come when he gets an AWP in his hands. That's a scary notion for ENCE. So economic damage being done here. That's I guess 1 AK out of the hands that Alu had onto him. Oh, 3rd time's not the charm, though, this time around.
Yeah, very passive. Very passive from Tony Black all the way in spawn. They're seeing what he can find. The thing is, as well, those SMGs can farm a lot of money, and the CTs don't lose anything by staying alive and going into the next, right? Obviously, you want to do economic damage, but a lot of damage was done. 2 kills. Still a significant bank being built up for ENCE. Hey, Halvor, did you hear about the restaurant on the moon?
No.
It's got great food, but no atmosphere.
You're going to be a stellar dad.
I hope so.
I can already see it. You're going to be the one to embarrass literally every kid you have at any sort of graduation, any sort of meeting where parents are involved.
That is the plan.
It's going to be glorious. Oh, speaking of things that might be glorious, AWP out on JR.
He's been able to get head armor, which is helped by those Deagle kills he did get. But the symptom of going for that force buy on the CT side and not finding too much success, or any success, is having low utility. And if you do dash your attention to the right-hand side of the screen, you can see the CTs only have a couple of smokes, not many Molotovs or flashes. This is going to be quite a quick pounce out of apps, I think. Here it comes. The flashes and smokes will rain over it. Aerial leading the charge, jumping out straight into the site. Comms that it's clear, and the rest of his teammates need to get in place as Sergey and X7 are able to find kills in the fray. Tony Black staying alive in the pit will be able to deny the plant. He needs to find more, though, as he's trying to reposition, and they're dancing in front of him. Another big kill. But that will be the bomb going down, and JR with that coveted AWP. Difficult to retake, and if I was him, that would be something I would like to use next round.
Seems like he has the same idea as you. Not interested in moving forward. Last time we saw him in library. This time taking Tony Black's position from the previous round. Hoping that someone from ENCE is going to stray off. That's not very likely to happen, even though we do have a decent amount of money on 3 other players. Considering 2 of them are dead. Just going to hold on to it. Build their economy up as much as possible. Make sure they don't get into any iffy situations early on if they start to lose rounds. But Vega not getting off to that hot start that we saw them do yesterday versus Energy.
I have a question for you. Do you think... here's the question.
Yeah.
Do you think it's easier at the A or B bomb site to be scrappy on the retake, or as they're running into plant, on this map?
As a CT?
Yeah, because that's what Vega are going to thrive on when the bomb site is looking to be under control, right? Obviously on train, it's easier to be scrappy around the yard train as opposed to the inner train. On this one here...
If you're thinking about first rotation, I think it's easier on B.
Yep.
I think for... I guess if you have the leftovers of an initial hold, I think that might be easier on A, depending on how you set yourself up initially. Depending on who's alive. If you have one guy in Graveyard, one guy in Pit, for instance, one of those 2 players, they can still do a lot of damage as you're making sure you're buying time for rotations to come in. But as a first rotator, I would prefer to go towards B any day of the week. So
if we look at a couple of things that I suppose ENCE could do when they go into situations, like we saw from that pounce execute on the A site, instead of going straight for the plant, they wanted to get control of the bomb site so they could call where the players were and take the fights. And B, if you are going to take that bomb site, you know they're going to be pushing the CT smoke. So it's actually very important to get straight into the site and plant deep as opposed to normal barbecue plant. This should be a pretty standard round. There's only pistol upgrades coming in. And right now, it is an aim map for Aerial on the balcony, normally on the roof. He's going to get 3, and JR has to save again. But this time round, because the economy is definitely looking juicy, like some of Thorin's Twitter content, they should be chasing, and they will. JR with 2 sick kills to save the AWP. He's going to have to dance around and duck and weave and dodge if he wants to hold on to it for much longer, because Sergey's already cut off his 1 port of solace.
It's going to be an easy kill for Sergey and an AWP dropped.
I don't think they need that AWP.
They don't. AWP on T-side Inferno, not for everyone. And as good as Alu can be with that weapon, I think they're finding a lot of success just with rifles as is. I mean, if they want to keep the tempo high, as they've done now to start things off, I think that would just be a detriment to their game plan.
I agree with that sentiment. I think that if they can opt for more of these clinical executes and use the strengths that we know they have, they can really stop Vega from being too aggressive. But JR will be able to get another AWP in his hands this time around. He's going over towards the A bomb site, stands in the Molotov, chunked down to 52 points of health. More than happy just to quick pick mid. And he hasn't seen anything, so they're just resetting into a default hold right now.
With JR actually being the one pushing aggressively over towards A with that AWP, that means for once there's not going to be a player constantly pressuring them at banana. A bit more of a standard hold from Vega Squadron in that sense. Using these smokes, hopefully just to, or mainly just to bait out any sort of utility on the side of Vega. Not committing to anything right off the bat.
Vega are doing a very good job right now, however, of holding on to the utility, though. Look how much they've got left.
Yeah. They were doing a really good job of this versus Energy as well, to the point where you had situations where Energy would have to run into sites through smokes with, 15 seconds left of a round. If they can do that now again, I mean, that might be the case. One smoke goes down towards B, that's Chopper. Tony Black still has a Molotov and a smoke to his name. So if ENCE wants to wait this out, could get dicey.
The thing is, they still have mid information. They don't need to hedge towards A, and that they haven't. The B attack comes in, they pounce through the smoke, but Tony's happy to play in it. He's just letting them pass. He's going to get found as Alu gets the opening, but Chopper, and this is where the real battle begins. They're pushing through smokes, they're ready to fight, and on the scene is Crush. He's going to get 1, but X7 continues some fantastic game from the first map. He will find 2 of his own, and now he's left with 15 seconds left on the clock. Bomb in hand is just going to continue to be picked, and this is where you scratch your head. You say, what the bloody hell are these guys doing, as they just want to fight, fight, fight. And the first round on the board for Vega Squadron here, that is the flurry. That's what we're talking about. If you can get down to that late round, Vega, they're always going to have a chance.
They really are, and again, they do it in the most trademark Vega way as possible, diving through smokes, both through spools and through main to find a total of 4 kills within a couple of seconds. And I think for ENCE, I mean, what you have to realize, and one thing that Energy struggled a lot with, is the fact that they want to go for immediate bomb plants because they've let time run down so significantly. That's when you're at your most vulnerable versus Vega. If you can get off into executes early on into the game, at least you don't have to force your hand by planting a bomb immediately, so you can wait for Vega to push into this. Still no double ops behind these barrels, and JR is going to take full advantage of that. Finds Aerial, but is immediately traded. Tony in position. He's going to drop a second Molotov. The second Molotov.
Using multiple smokes as well. That was 2 on CT spawn. Another one used to distinguish the Molotov. Into the site they run. Tony Black will find one, but the immediate responders from Vega are nowhere to be found. Bomb will go down. And now the question becomes, with this low buy, are they going to be able to get into the side? X7, another big shot. The pressure on Crush and Hutchie. The missed flash was blocked by the teammate. And now they're coming up through B main. Alut, easy as that one. And 2. And with that hard mother truck and reset.
That's a rough one to deal with for Vega Squadron. And at that time you saw an instance of ENCE being quick enough to actually make the push onto the B side once they found JR out in Banana. It doesn't allow for Crush to be in any sort of position where he can dive through a smoke. Because ENCE on their end, they were happy enough to go for that immediate plant. So if Crush is a little bit further forward, could again be denial of a bomb plant, more chaos to be dealt with. But ENCE escape and going up against some upgraded pistols. Not a lot of Kevlar. Should be a doable task here for the Finns. And JR goes down, but Crush.
If he pushed down mid, he got that player jumping.
Yeah.
Just in the middle of the air. Getting his airtime. Hang 10, away you go. That's a shot to the head. As it looks like they want to head towards this B bomb site. The bomb's there. 3 members are pushing in. Oh, the counter smoke's going to slow this down, and it's very interesting for ENCE at this point.
See, though, still plenty of time to work with here on the side of ENCE. Equal numbers of players alive still as well. It's going to favor the T side. Obviously, the utility, in addition to all of that, it's going to be very beneficial. They still have enough Molotovs to clear out pretty much an entire side of the B area if they opt to go there. So smoking off spools and spawn. With Crush making a bit of a gamble rotation over towards A here, this might be all down to Tony Black to see if he can find any sort of redemption. Does feel a bit unlikely, though.
Yeah, I like the fact that they're just playing off contact. It means that Vega can't react off of the utility. Now it comes in, and Tony's able to find one. The damage has been dealt, and they know that they're more than happy to continue to harass. Bomb should be planted any second. Alu just gets on the scene, and that could have been absolutely catastrophic if Tony was able to stop that plant. Now, Chopper, Crush, and Hutchie should definitely have a shot at this retake. There is a flash in the hands of Chopper. Coming up Banana, that could really be huge.
Time ticking, though. No defuse gets on the side of the CTs. Nice connection from Hutchie, though. Right now, if they're not going to be able to win out the round, at least they're going to be able to do a significant amount of damage. Alu finds one. Alexi takes out Crush, and that leaves Chopper. You might just want to hold on to that AK if possible.
They're going to die with the bomb, surely.
Yeah.
Both super low on HP.
Down they go.
It's good that they didn't allow Chopper to get the AWP. I'm surprised Chopper didn't throw that flash before they peeked out from construction there, right? That flash would have had everybody in the bomb site who was at least facing white, and they would have been able to push on in, but not to be the case. Maybe he didn't realize he had that in his back pocket.
Could be. Nonetheless, so it's the 7th round for ENCE, but we're going to see, well, I guess, a buy of some sorts coming out from Vega. Not really great, considering, I mean, they did hold on to that AK from Chopper, so what they've been able to supplement that with is a UMP, an MP9, a Colt, and a Deagle. Do have a significant amount of utility, though, and I think that's what they're going to have to hang their hat on. This is going to be a successful round. And so, again, slowly going into their default. Safe spread.
I still really like this 5AK approach, the fact that they're not worrying about that AWP. This is what we talk about when we say, you know, they play that disciplined, percentage Counter-Strike.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that an AWP can't work, because certain teams definitely make it work, but they're not relying on a star player in that way.
Yeah.
It's about getting map control, you know, using the best weaponry with the map, or the confines of the map.
Just having that added mobility. Oh, that's a nice get from Sergey. Yeah, the added mobility that you get from running 5 rifles really makes it tough. And I think it's kind of the way to go as well. The more staggered you get, the more of a chance Vega are going to have to pounce on you.
Especially considering the way they like to play those sight takes, right?
Yeah.
Just constantly in your face. The AWP's only going to be able to shoot one bullet at a time. Moving into the smoke in apps, actually. This could be very dangerous right now as this A play's coming in. Crush could be the man. He's going to look the wrong way. Bullet to the head as he went to swing, and now Hutchie's up in the pit with so much pressure. They swarm on him, and a round in the bag for ENCE will more than likely ensue. As Vega are opting for the save, Tony Black only going to hold on to an MP9. Definitely not the weapon you want.
But it's what they have.
Yeah, that was an interesting buy. I'm surprised they didn't go for another, you know, pistol upgrade and then see if they can get the full guns up. We're not that far down in the half. Sure, scoreline's about to be 8-1, and it would have been if they did take a save. Now, they are broke. Let's have a quick little look here. They're going to have 2,400 loss bonus next round. So
Not enough to buy up with.
no.
So it's going to have to be another eco. I mean, for JR to get to an op, that's going to take a while. He's one of the players staying alive for right now. But he only has $50 to his name. But one of the things we're seeing differently, I guess, out of ENCE compared to Train is the fact that we're seeing much more conviction on their end when they have decided on a bomb site. I mean, they're getting map control. I guess that's easier to have happen for you as well on a map like Inferno compared to Train, because when you get map control on Train, in many ways you're already on a bomb site.
Yeah. You should be getting box holes pretty easily. You should be getting pushed up Ivy.
Yeah.
Team main is already yours.
Exactly. It kind of just comes by default. But what ENCE are failing to do or struggling to do on their T side there on Train was make anything happen from that. This time it's been much better in terms of their executions onto bomb site, finding openings. I'm going to see if there's going to be any sort of adaptation coming out of Vega, though. As we said, it's going to be an eco round coming into this one. And, actually, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw them coming out. Obviously, they talked things over here even before their incoming buy round. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw some A aggression actually being the name of the game for Vega.
The fact that they have 5 smokes means they can delay for quite a period of time. And if that's their go, if that's their play, the smokes could also give off the fact that they have bought again. That is something that just a little bit of utility tends to force the T team into considering. And in CSGO, almost every round needs to be considered a threat.
Look at how separated JR and Tony Black is right now. JR is just a one-man wrecking crew, potentially, for Vega out in Banana, but he doesn't have any way of actually getting significant help from Tony. Tony has a flash that he's just set up with, but again, that needs to be perfect in order to be able to flash any sort of ENCE player coming through that smoke or moving up towards Banana.
It's crazy that they've opted to play the 3-man stack over towards that arch side as well, and JR picks wide, gets punished. That'll drop. The AK-47 completely unretrievable. They could have played one of those pistols in tow with JR to either bait for him or scavenge the weapon when it did fall, but right here, right now, full control for ENCE as they now wander towards the B bomb site. Rotation will come in. He's going to limp on over. I'm not sure if they're going to completely bite right now. Delayed smoke almost punished is Tony Black, down to 32 HP. There's still 2 more smokes up on Crush and Hutchie, though.
Yeah, issue is that those are still over towards that A bomb side, but ENCE seem to be making the rotation. They've ran into a bit of an issue towards B earlier on where Smokes was in the way.
Hold up. Why didn't Vega use the smoke at this point? They've just sat waiting, and Crush, we saw him get a highlight from here before. He's going to get one. There's 15 seconds left on the clock, and they're falling like flies. It's going to leave Sergey to grab this bomb, get to the bomb site with only 10 seconds on the clock. He's been able to pick it up.
For it.
He's going to be close. He's going to be close. He's going to get it down. He's just going to get this down, and the cover will be there as X7's rotated in to make sure that there are no problems. But hold up a second. Chopper's going to go pick up that AK at Car. He's going to be able to scavenge this, and with the extended bomb time that's been in play now for... Well, they've thrown the AK away, so he actually isn't able to grab that. We left only with the USP. That's fantastic work from ENCE to throw that away so it couldn't be scavenged.
That means that probably, yeah, he's going to go for the second AK lying around here mid.
A little armory over here.
We'll take that if you're Vega. Obviously, time is ran. too far gone, really, at this point for them to have any hopes of doing a retake. But 2 AKs out of pretty much minimal investment. You'll take that on the side of the CTs. It does get dicey for ENCE there.
Every time. I'm surprised they didn't smoke off
mid, yeah.
Smoke off top mid there, right? They had 2 smokes left, and it's very late round. If they had used that, they could have actually taken a fight in that choke point. They're super lucky that they ran into that blender as well. That was, I wouldn't say a misplay from ENCE. I'm of the same thought process. I like to go arch side. I much prefer arch side on my anti-ecos as opposed to going quad. It's very dangerous there with boiler, quad, so many different hidey holes and positions. So Vega knew that.
I guess the one drawback is that, I mean, with how many players that were alive on the side of ENCE, maybe you don't take the bomb over towards arch side.
Wow. All right, there's that T-sided ult we weren't talking about. Crush will fall very early. Think you can get a little bit aggressive to throw that Molotov down mid. Damage will be tickled onto Sergey, who's found himself on 37 points of health. But this hyper-aggressive position by Tony Black, I think he's going to continue with this push. And yes, he will. Alu's on the scene, stepping out, jumping up. He's going to fall. And that's all Tony Black had to do. The equalizer. Now we're back on even pegging.
Given a bit of an advantage in terms of HP on the side of Vega. Op being removed from play as well. I say that Alexi has picked it up. Tony Black was not expecting that. So we're having a couple of trades going on over in middle. It's back and forth as ever, and Huchi's going to be able to drop the bomb. Why not have 3 players over towards that area? Oh, Alexi misses out on the shot. Position is given away from Huchi as of right now, but
He has to know X7 could have come out apps in this situation, and he does appear to be aware.
he's going to get the drop on X7, though. No chance for a trade here on ENCE, but ooh.
Smart play.
Yeah. Opportunity just evades Huchi, but he's going to be quick on the rotation at least, and Alexi is on half HP.
Use your nades. There we go. This is what you want to see. When there's that much utility left, you know where the player is, you know it's a 2-on-1 situation. Use every advantage you have. Use those smokes, use those Molotovs. Play him, and now he can only come through this choke point. Actually expecting someone to play silly buggers at this point in the round. That's not going to be the case.
Well, Alexi's gone into such a passive position as well. Smoke's going to come down on. That might force his hand.
Is there a gap? Why isn't Alexi repositioned? There must be a gap in that smoke because he's decided to say CT. Hachi's gone up
that's
and over.
A massive gap.
He's going to get a chance to take the duel here, but unexpectedly... Oh, it will be Alexi from CT Spawn who finds that. That was a missed smoke. If he actually hit that, it would have forced Alexi to rotate around to construction.
Yeah, also would have allowed for Huchi to not necessarily focus at all towards that area of the map as he moves on in. Could probably have a better shot at winning out the duel versus X7 behind new boxes. There you go. Instead, it's going to be another round on the board for ENCE. Here's apparently the answer coming out of Vega Squadron. Double ops. Curious to see how they're going to go about this.
This is their pick. We've had 2 maps which have been interesting. You know, this is the type of map where we expect Vega to be able to scrap. You know, the low buys, the closer rounds. Whereas they did that more on Train, which was the choice of ENCE. And going for this hyper-aggressive re-picking AWP style is JR, and they know they want to continue to spam. This is in his wheelhouse, and they don't want to allow it to be something he can get away with for free. Molotov will force out the player from the broken wall. We'll have to extinguish the smoke, and he's going to get boosted up and over. Alu is ready and raring for that one. Get out of here as JR has given away a lot of early deaths towards the top of the banana.
Yeah, that was one of the things that was working so well on Inferno for Vega. Even in the game they lost versus Optic, he was able to, I think he went 6-0 in opening duels versus Config and Banana, just with the constant aggression. Optic not being able to deal with it. But you could tell that a bit of a different take on it from ENCE's point of view is the fact that they're going 3 players in Banana early on. Tony charges through the smoke with a flash. He's going to find 2. Picks up an AK as well. Gets the drop on Alu. Ooh, nearly gets a 4th as well. X7. No, left in a 1v3. Tries to get the bomb plant down. Crush. And invites the opportunity to go through the smoke.
X7 can use this Molotov to buy himself a little bit more time. We have seen him hit some absolutely crisp shots right now, but he's going to have to do more than that as he's being pushed back, all 3 members in his face, and crushed with the AWP. It appears to be the answer, as you alluded to, however. They're able to use the big green.
Big green comes into play. Yeah, Crush finding 2 kills that round, but no doubt MVP of the round being Tony Black with the push through smokes into a flashbang and pretty much every sort of utility you can think of being in play there. Finds 3 kills to just completely halt ENCE in their tracks. It's a much needed round as well. I mean, if they can close this out, bring it to 10-5, they're still within an earshot of bringing it back.
well, considering the scoreline, ENCE's economy isn't, buoyed up to around that, 10+ K mark. They're still being kept pretty honest. Everybody on the team below 5,000. Crush is going to be, they've gone triple orbs.
Why not?
The Tropes. Problem does become if they do lose a bomb site in equal number situations. Look at this.
Look at Hoochie's positioning as well for an op. Just right into to Boiler. And this is definitely a different take on how to play CT side. Which he's actually not going to be able to find anything at all. X7 pushed forward in abs. Wins out that duel. Forces Chopper to reposition. Crush still holding control over mid, though, for the time being. Some 18-8.
Yeah, right now they're taking the mid wall. It's going to force Crush back into a more passive position as they can pounce through that smoke with a flash in time, but they're just posturing right now. In this 4-on-5, you wouldn't be expecting a player to be pushing banana, especially alone. And looks like they're setting up with their smoke grenades for the rest of this execute. Still 2 players towards the site. Now Chopper is opting to get aggressive towards quad. He's going to get flashed off, but now the attack's in. It is the A swarm. They're pushing up as we stay on board with Crush. He's going to find one, but over towards the A bomb site. Ariel and Alexi B open the account, open the bomb site, and from here, the 2 AWP should be shut out. Unless they're offering up kills, and X7 has no problem to step wide, give you that Formula 1 wide peak of doom.
JR kind of realizing the situation at hand. He's not going to have any hopes of actually retaking this. And that means a reset as well for Vega. I mean, you talked about how economy on ENCE's side was being kept honest. That's definitely the case for Vega right now. Gucci and Tony Black being the ones with the most spare bucks to their name. 1,900 though. Not going to do a whole lot with a 1,400 loss bonus.
If you had $1,400, what would you buy? Not in Counter-Strike, just in life.
Yeah, no.
What would be your purchases right now?
Oh God, what would? You know, as a bit of a, I guess, in theme with what we're doing, I would probably buy a new PC, even if I don't need it, right?
Yeah, I want to buy a tablet.
Yeah,
for the analyst desk, I think it would look nice.
You'd have some money to spare though with 1,400. You
Yeah,
could get a tablet and then go somewhere.
Yeah, maybe. I wouldn't buy anything with Velcro though. It's a total rip-off.
Been scorned by some shoes in the past, or?
Yeah, man. You know, as a kid, you got those little Velcro straps.
Things were so much easier back then, though, when you didn't have to tie your own laces.
You didn't have to do anything for yourself.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you get really rich as well. Well, I assume. Anyway, JR's the only guy with a gun. He's going to use that Molotov to his advantage to actually put up a smoke wall. But Ariel says, hey, buddy, I know what you're doing. I know what you're up to. Got your number. And again, this is 4 times in this half alone that JR has given up that opening kill. He's gone down without any trade potential. And normally this guy is a top 4 player in the matches that I've seen Vega Squadron win. Well, not even win. In a lot of the matches throughout the tournament, JR has been a top 4 player in the server. Right here in the smoke, he's going to try and push out Chopper. He can only be random so many times as Alexi will find that kill. And now the A bomb site is open. So there is one player sitting and waiting of Hachi. He's going to die. Nice and easy. They're going to find him out. Piecing this puzzle together as ENCE. It looks like they're going to storm forward to 12 rounds in this T-half. Crush and Tony Black locked out. No chaos to thrive in.
I guess this is a kind of a prime example of how much of a backside this playstyle of Vega Squadron can have. Because when you're not able to create that havoc for yourself, when it just becomes very easy openings for ENCE to work with time and time again, and you're not getting anything for it, you do get run over versus teams who are fundamentally sound.
Do you think Tony Black needs like a catchphrase?
Something would have been have to take like straight out of Shaft or something like that. I think to go toe to toe with the name.
Yeah.
Do you have anything off the top of your head in terms of like what he could actually?
I was thinking about some things, but I don't know. Like maybe when he kills you, he could like because when he kills you, like he could send you into the darkness. But it need a bit of work. It needs a bit of definitely needs some workshopping.
Yeah, I mean, get in touch with I guess a brand developer, if you can call it that. Is that a thing? It's probably a profession, right?
Branding. There's more creative people out than me. James Duffield does some stuff for Twitch like that, I guess.
We'll get him on the case, see what he can do for Tony Black to build a brand.
So JR hasn't had the level of impact we've been expecting with the AWP, but he's got it in hand again, and he wants to go for this pick towards middle. This time, Alu is ready and waiting. If he wants to get a little bit too curious, just like the cat, he will have the same fate.
Well, JR doesn't opt to go very aggressive. You have a bit of a duo in Apps here in Chopper and Hoochie to move forward a bit. He's sole player over up in that B-bomb site for the time being as JR makes this rotation in.
Timing on this could be catastrophic, though, as JR will be picking as they're in the open. So as he swings out, he may be able to find one of these players from ENCE lurking, and yes, he will. That's going to be enough to force them back. And Aerial not expecting choppers up close and personal position. The 5-7 will find the kill. Upgrades to an AK-47. Has to be happy with that. But Alu is on the chase. He's on the scene. He wants to see if you're hanging around. And yes, you are. As Alu will take down Hoochie and Crush now with the Deagle up close. Finds another one of his own. This more spread out pace from ENCE has left them hanging in a 1-on-3 situation with Alexi B and all the work to do.
Ton of it too. Does have the bomb at least on his back. A little bit lacking in utility. Has a pair of dualies as well. That's something you see every day, but nothing's really going to come out of it. Crush finds his second frag of the round to get Vega Squadron to 3. But I mean, if you're ENCE, this has been a have to look back at with glimmering eyes.
If you can't close this one, you're in a world of absolute hurt. But let's check out if they're able to finish this off after the break and take us to the third map.
Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna let it rain. Tonight, we gonna let it rain. Tonight, we gonna let it just like the sunrise.
The near flawless half there from ENCE as they're able to pick up the T side of Inferno 12-3. Orps really not being that successful, at least in the hands of JR for Vega Squadron, as he gave away a lot of opening deaths throughout that one.
Yeah, and one of the strengths of Vega Squadron, at least on Inferno previously, has been finding opening kills and winning those duels early on. That was never really the case, as we saw them go up against the likes of Alu, Aerial, and the bunch. Right now, though, I mean, we talked about expecting to see much more scrappy CS, and I mean, we did get a couple of instances of it, even though Vega didn't come out with rounds from it. But you do sit here wondering, like, how are they actually going to be able to mount a comeback off of this? Even winning a pistol, as great as that is, it still puts you 6 rounds behind, and so they're going to have so many buy rounds to potentially close this out in.
Yeah, surely this one already is wrapped up. Just need to put the bow on it. Is ENCE. They weren't able to close in a map that they had a big lead on the first time, and straight away, Alu's going to find himself in a big duel, pushing straight back as Hachi continues the chase, and well, things squared away at 4-4 as Aerial, he made a big kill from that arch side onto JR. Once again, the opening death. That's a damning statistic so far in this game.
Well, Vega Squadron probably off the back of that frag onto Alu and Apps would have liked to switch up the tempo here towards A, but instead, Aerial staying alive, not being forced to his position in arch. That's kind of put a slow on everything that Vega wanted to do, and Meanwhile, Gucci's been able to go down as well. Ariel with 2 to his name so far. Still within an opportunity to find a lot more. Bomb. Go towards Archway. That's where Alexi is posted up.
Oh, instantly picked, instantly gushed, and down to 8 HP. That opens the mid to B, and Chopper is still in banana right now, so he can apply a bit of pressure from that part of the map as they barrel through. X7 is waiting in construction. He's going to hit a nice headshot. His aim has been on point. Needs to find the second on the Tony. Black will eventually be swarmed. The close range Glock getting it done, and Sergey from either side is pinned down and taken away. This is Chopper's banana position. It's come up absolutely trump at this point. The round that looks so good for ENCE, that started so smoothly, has been stolen again, and these back and forth rounds of Counter-Strike based off the unpredictable play of Vega and their just ability to take these duels and fight for territory like no one else.
Yeah, forcing Alexi off of his angle and Arch there with the immediate connection to his head. Definitely spurred them on to success in that round. And X7, even though he finds the first one, not able to hold off the pressure, which puts Sergey in an impossible situation, really, to be successful. And does allow for Vega to get a bye going into this. Starts off the second half with a pistol round win. Let's see if they're actually going to be able to hold off the anti-eco versus ENCE. ENCE have decided to opt in on, well, at least pistols on everyone, but Alexi and X7 going a bit more modest. Not opting in for Kevlar.
I think you should note, though, that Alu has bought head armor here, which means unless someone's going to drop him an AWP come the first gun round, he won't have that. He jiggle peeks, he spotted something over towards middle. Now they're going to drop back towards the side, as it will be the arch side play coming out from Vega, barreling very quickly. Library smoke as well to help them get onto the bomb site. This is where it matters. This is where the duels come in. As Molotovs will even come over. And now they're just posturing. Now they're just waiting. They've changed their mind in the middle of the round. They've forced themselves into a box here, and now they have to get their way out. As Trays will fall in their favor. Got very dicey there. They can even drop all the way back to B, and that appears to be the play. What an interesting approach for an anti-eco.
Yeah. Again, at this time, it ends with a quick rotation, right? So that allows them to find an opening once they've picked off the one player and spawn. Pretty clear indication that ENCE have just put every basket in, or every egg into that basket being over on that A-bomb site. Works out for them. JR manages to adjust as he gets stinked by Alu. Alexi alone.
Oh, they don't know he's here. If he can actually hide and get through, he could have maybe snuck onto the bomb site. And unfortunately, though, or fortunately, depending on which side of the coin you're looking at, able to find one kill. Will fall. Not a very expensive round. 2 kills are better than nothing, but that investment was relatively hefty from ENCE. And now they do have to take a save. X7 has enough if he wants to invest in a flashbang. They can maybe try and do something as a team. We did see throughout other matches in this tournament that these guys opted to stack bomb sites, you know, just have weird 4-man stacks and hedge their bets on their extremely low buys, and this is one of them. There will be an A stack. All 5 members making their way towards the top of middle right now.
Not anything invested at all. They're just going to come running down mid here.
This is just an easy mop-up right now for Vega Squadron. Happy to take those duels, happy to take those fights, and no damage done.
Yeah, but you mentioned it. If there is an opportunity for ENCE to get an op in the hands of Alu, X7 is going to have to be the one to buy that up for him if that's going to be the case. ENCE deciding not to do that, though. I'm not interested in having Alu don that weapon right off the bat.
Oop, there we go. Alexi just bought a kit. I was about to point out the fact they're going into the first gun round without a defuse kit. Loot bet odds on your screen right here have ENCE as the heavy favorites, and that's fair enough for the 12-3 T-half. Now we're getting into the business rounds right now. Can they stand tall? Can they deliver? What kind of strategy will the Vega Squadron be throwing at them?
Tony Black and Huji have been relentless of getting abs control for the side of Vega on their T sides. It's pretty much what their task is every single round, regardless of what kind of plan Vega set up for. Chopper and Crush have been the forward-facing players towards Banana.
It's just going to be a B hit now because they already have established banana control. When you get banana this early, it's normally one of the best calls you can make. Molotov to push back the CT player, another Molotov to delay the push, but they are going to push forward on this one. Now we're on board with Alexi, who's picked on from Coffin. He's going to spot out, not do any damage. One will sneak through to CT, and Chopper, he's pushed on all the way through and got a kill on the rotation. Frags keep falling, and we found ourselves in a 3-on-3 with 50 seconds left in a very awkward position for the 2 ENCE players on the bomb site.
Yeah, and add into that the fact that Huchi's been able to clear out Sergey from the EAVs. What he doesn't know is the fact that Ariel was also posted up there, and Tony's making the rotation back. There we go. Just excellent positional play from Ariel to drop the bomb. She's forced forward.
Oh, wow.
He actually is going to get away with it as well.
And he could even go to B, which is the plan.
Oh.
They're rotating all the way through, ring around the rosy, pockets full of Posey. It looks like this one here could fall for Vega as they're going to get the bomb down in a free bomb site and all the room in the world to set up this post plant. Any second, ENCE are going to look like they have egg on their face as they'll hear the plant, know that it wasn't the A bomb site, or at least they should. The game's been updated, boys.
3 times Listerine face right there.
Yikes, that's not a nice one. Now they're up against it. Short, 2 smokes, 2 flashes. But this post-plant positioning from Vega, they're ready to take the fights as per usual. All 3 members want to barrel on through CT spawn. A smoke to block off construction. Now Hutchie picks wide. He grabs one, completely blind. He'll fall to Ariel. Now Chopper, the man of the moment. Can he do it? He just has to find this kill. The kit is on Alexi. Time is their enemy right now. And Ariel will stop it. The defuse will come in. And ENCE just able to save that one. It would have been an absolute blunder on their behalf, over-rotating after the perfect play from Ariel.
That could have very easily been a pretty significant blunder on the side of ENCE. I mean, at that point, just maybe start getting into your own head, getting a little bit flustered. Vega would have had a chance to fight right back into this. Instead, Vega are going to be the ones to take a tactical timeout.
Oh, someone's tweeted in and said "Fade to Black" by Tony Black. That's Counter-Strike related.
Ooh, that's
a lot
good
of people
one.
might not know. Back in previous iterations of the game, even at points within CS:GO, we used to play with a thing called "Fade to Black." So when you died, your screen would go black.
Yeah, and the main point behind that was obviously like when a player died, he was allowed to speak until his screen was fully faded.
Yep.
And at that point, he just had to shut up. I will say, though, for the intent of it, it never really came to fruition. You didn't see too much regulation around it or too much enforcing of that rule.
As well.
Yeah.
Especially with like voice activation on microphones and team speak and all that jazz. But in CS:GO, if you die, you can still see. And a lot of teams actually have their players who are dead communicate for their players who are in firefights and
Shout out
fighting
to
information.
Stico.
Yeah. That's a good little thing to have on your side. Even though ENCE were able to get this round on the board, they still don't have the better buy. They have 2... I'm going to do this for you, Halvor. Clarions.
It's a blast from the past. Those unawares, that's a FAMAS.
Double Apps play again opted in by ENCE, and they're going to find kills all across the board as action taking place towards A, towards B, and on top of the Hem.
Yeah.
JR finds himself in a 1-on-3 with the AWP. It all happened so quick.
This is when, like, you know, the observer's sitting in the production room just cursing out both teams. It's not how it's supposed to go down. And JR, though, yeah, as even though Vega went into the round with a better buy, definitely not left in a position where they can feel favored. And actually, ENCE might they? Yeah, they're thinking about moving out here. And X7 has gotten past the eyes of JR, and that's going to be 3 men surviving on the side of ENCE, and AWP picked up. That's going to go to Ola this time around. We didn't see him play with it too much on the T side. I think it was only there was only one instance, if I can recall correctly, where he actually opted to go in for it. CT side makes a lot more sense. JR, though, he's going to stick to his guns. He's got another AWP.
He's loving it.
Yep.
This is where the majority of his kills come in from this entire tournament. You look at the stats. Yesterday he had a bit of impact with the AK-47, but I would say more than 50% of his kills have been coming through the big green. Aggressive towards top banana here. Has a chance to find a kill. Smoke's going to land just to obscure his vision. He isn't able to get the bullet to connect, but he wants to boost up to continue to fight. That doesn't matter because ENCE have dropped back towards the bomb site. I say that. Alexi pushes out. Still wants to contest the top. Doesn't want to give it up for free. Nade comes in. They scamper backwards. And now the round will slow. And boiler control is being taken right now by Hutchie. And any minute, apps control will come in.
A bit of a scary notion for Vega here is the fact that they have a fair amount of smokes, but they don't have any flashes or Molotovs, really. So while they will be able to section off parts of any bombs that they want to go towards, it's still going to be possible for ENCE to work around this. They have a ton of utility to their name.
A ton of smoke there and no flashes to pop on through as Vega, so they're going to fight another day and drop back towards A.
45 seconds left and still 4 Molotovs up on ENCE.
Yikes. It's going to be tough if they time them and start using them now. As we do see come on the board, it's going to be difficult to push on in, as it has to be A at this point with 30 seconds left on the clock. Swinging out wide, Alu takes one, drops back, repositioning, giving himself another angle to hit the shot, and yes, he will. JR will be blind by one of the teammates. Flashes coming in from the A site. The bomb is down. That'll be the round. That's 15 on the board. It doesn't matter what Tony can do damage-wise. That's map point. One away.
Very convincing display from ENCE so far.
This is what we were thinking was going to happen on the first map.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of would have expected to see the opposite results, really. A bit more of a scrappy approach here on Inferno. Rounds going back and forth. And potentially Vega scraping out a victory instead. Yeah, and I was very much so on train.
Ooh, this is going to be an A rush. Look at this. 4 members making their way very quickly through alt mid. This normally means one thing, as JR wants to establish a tiny bit of banana control. You're normally going to see a quick A play if you're going to have 4 members come through. Maybe I'm wrong. Yes, indeed, I am wrong.
Still, I mean, it might be with a decent tempo to it. I mean, they have been rather slow up to this point. Actually, Alexi's going to be the aggressor here over towards Banana. He's going to fall back at the wrong timing as well, so take some pot damage. Some pot shots from ENCE.
The action will be over to A, though. You've got 3 players posturing over towards Boiler. Flash is ready to come on in, so they can pounce on Pit.
X7 is actually rotating away off of the A bomb site or into a much more passive position. So Ariel, he needs to come up big, and he does so as well. Finds 2 right off the bat. Sergey still alive in Pit here.
Great utility coming in from the arch side, allowing Sergey to reposition and get 2 big kills from the Pit. 16-6 on the board for ENCE as they take the second map. That's the pick of Vega Squadron, but in a best of 5. Everyone's going to be happy with all the maps on the board.
Yeah, and I mean, the way it's going now, I think map 3 is Dust 2. I haven't seen enough out of either of these teams to really know what to expect going into that.
Yeah, the meta hasn't really been established at this point, but we do have the analyst desk standing by. I'm sure they're willing to break down the flaws and the positives of that game right there.
Yeah, and I mean, quickly, if I were to ask you, what was the biggest drawback for Vega? What flies off the handle?
JR, towards the later stages, was trying to make a lot of players to over towards the top of Banana. He was getting picked off quite a lot in that part of the map, and I think just, you know, they were under the thumb, right? ENCE looked like they knew how to mitigate and control those chaotic rounds. You know, they actually stood up and delivered.
Yeah, no, they definitely did so, and we'll see if there's going to be a different approach on the side of Vega going into Dust 2. But I feel like Dust 2 is kind of the map that lends itself to chaos, right?
This should be their play style. This should be in their wheelhouse, that's for sure. We've already seen them pick up a map on that one exactly in the tournament. So over to the desk, take it away, Trace and the boys.
Trace. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to what is indeed the Vega Squadron versus ENCE. And, well, this one, a more one-sided affair as we try to make some sense of everything that's going on in here at the same time as what's going on with this matchup. Guys, where do we even kick this one off? Perhaps with the shark attack, that is.
Hey, listen, speaking of distraction, it looked like the Vega Squadron was distracted there. They were not having a good shark week themselves, mate. They were trying to lift their body weight above their head, failing miserably. No, the thing is, it's like we said, both teams actually didn't have a great record on the map. The difference is the Vega Squadron basically has only been winning on this map at this tournament. Like, they've done it and they've been very impressive. This was not the case. Now they've this is the real Vega Squadron on this map. ENCE looked really, really solid.
Yeah,
I can't say it was like a legit amazing win from them, but looked solid.
This was an absolute dominant performance by ENCE. At no point in this game did it feel like Vega Squadron was going to win this map. Outside of JR, they went, I think, 1-13 on opening duels. JR won 3 out of his 8 attempts, I believe. Yeah, this was utter dominance. I liked how ENCE approached the early rounds. They abused the A site through the apps on the second round, first gun round, and I think even the second gun round, which is how they really kicked off, you know, I think it was like an 8-1 start or something like that. At no point was Vega contesting them on this map.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess you have to look at the first map as well. It's kind of maybe foretelling about how the series could go. Maybe you've just awoken the octopus that is ENCE. Maybe they're squid. I don't know what they really are, but nonetheless,
Kraken, I believe.
Kraken?
Yeah.
Not to be confused with it.
So
Kraken.
let's check what's cracking.
Yep. What is cracking is ENCE have seemingly woke up here and came alive in the second map. And as you say, yeah, they pretty much had the driver's seat this entire time.
I'm amazed there's even any highlights to show in this one, because it never felt like they were in the rounds. Like, obviously, that is one of the rare ones that they were able to win. Alu had a very, very solid game, as you'd normally expect. Just a stable player, as you would know. One of the weirdest things about this one is, though, it's so puzzling to me that Vega Squadron, the whole tournament has looked so good on all the maps. They're never getting blown out pretty much. And then this is a map where you absolutely, especially on CT side, you can pick your distance you want to take fight side. If you want to brawl, if you want to take aim duels, try and trade, you can do it on this map, but they just weren't very, well, quite frankly, just individually they weren't showing up.
Yeah, I agree. The individuals from ENCE pretty much all showed up in this game. Ariel had a fantastic game. Again, Alu goes 5-0 in opening duels, which is so big for an Opera to be, entering rounds time in and time out on these big matches for ENCE. So that's definitely a key point right now moving forward in the series.
You see on all these highlights, like, okay, on this one at least they 2 people were going. On the other one, it's just people coming one by one round a corner, which isn't what you'd expect. Like, I don't know why Vega Squadron's switching up their style. That's where, like, if 3 people run and jump by there and you're an AWPer, you can only kill one at a time. You have to rescope the weapon, It's like they're almost playing, like, into the disadvantageous way to play the map.
We did see quite a bit of running down the clock here, at least on the side of ENCE, but they were able to pull a lot of rounds out, which is nice to see that they've sort of returned to this formulated and very disciplined approach. I mean, you kind of have to wonder why it kind of fell apart for them on train.
Yeah, discipline would be a really good word to use. On those halls pops, something that you can really take away from that is the first guy would always make someone miss or catch someone off guard. He would jump out into lane or jump out into pit and allow an opening for the second and third guy coming out of halls, which is why those hits were so successful. Meanwhile, on the other side, you would watch Vega enter the A bomb site, and it's a lot like how Duncan said, they were very hesitant. They would go one by one, and they weren't helping create space. So it was basically either you get entry frags or the entire strat falls apart. And as I said before, one entry frag amongst 13 attempts for 4 players outside of JR, it was very clear which way this match was going to go.
Yeah, I mean, I guess numbers-wise, we're looking at least a map where there were some underperformers, but not necessarily that you needed to step up in the right events. I mean, you could have had 1 or 2 guys sleeping at the wheel, but still somehow you wouldn't have crashed into the tree. Whereas if you look at the likes of Vega Squadron, what isn't necessarily as smooth on their side? Hutchie had a very rough game, statistically speaking, but I guess that could encompass all of what happened here to Vega.
Yeah, not even JR had a really stellar performance. He was kind of getting dominated in Banana early on the CT half, trying to go for those car picks a lot of times, pushed back by utility time and time again. Not really much to take away on the bright side right now for Vega.
And obviously, let me think, what is the next map at this point in time?
It's going to be a little bit of Dust 2, actually.
There we go. So that's a map that, I mean, we saw that earlier in the tournament, was one that in theory, they played against the Fragsters guys. They'd only lost before that against Monolith, whoever that is, I don't even know. But they were inexplicably able to win it against the Fragsters. I'm expecting a much better performance from ENCE on this one in terms of how the first map was. So I think actually it's a really good chance for ENCE to take a lead in the series to get right back in it. You've seen Alu's game has been rock solid this whole tournament. He can do so much on this map with his AWP. They've got the strong rifle play, disciplined style. One of the things I want to ask you about this, Sean, I think the new Dust 2, even though the layout's the same, it doesn't feel at all to me like the old Dust 2 where you could just put star players on, just run around, take whatever you want. You need to use utility a lot.
Yeah, teams are playing this version of Dust 2 very different from the old one. It's not as much pushing and pulling rotations, which is a little bit surprising, and teams aren't using CAT as much as they used to. It's a lot of early long A abuse, and yeah, CTs have definitely advanced as far as their utility goes. As when we watch teams like Astralis just dominate the map with utility, that didn't used to happen when you played Dust 2.
We still see a lot of similar smokes within middle, at least. Yep. Perhaps getting that sort of out middle, making a guess. Maybe you could peek towards that long A car. Maybe getting something going on either side of the map. But I can tell you why they lost to a team called Monolith, because there was actually a player on Monolith named Nickelback, and this is a CIS team.
Okay, well, that's how you remind me.
Yeah. That's the only win Nickelback has ever gotten.
Ever.
Yes, everything else was just holding L all day long.
Dust 2 is the next digital playground, I should say, the digital map, the digital battlefield, for what it's worth. And
you go online and go in playgrounds.
What?
Is that what you do?
What, mate?
Start the dictaphone?
Don't know where we're going with this one. Sounds a little weird. Something weird like Duncan would be used to. Either way, I think you guys have any closing remarks before we get us out of here?
Maybe start watching that video again.
Yeah, well, we're going to hit play on this video. When we come back, it's going to be a little bit of Dust 2, and it's going to be a lot of ENCE and Vega Squadron scaring off on here. What will be the third map of a best-of-5 series. Certain to go the full distance here. You don't want to miss any of this, and perhaps if you're just joining us, go ahead and get some loot bet in there, get some of the CS money, because there's a hell of a case to make on either of those. And we're going to a break. Maybe when we come back, the Spud himself can deliver some of that high-octane, high-speed, high momentum, and high violence, and where in which he is broadcasting there with Vendetta. Don't go anywhere.
And video games.
new bet. With Hellcase multi-cases, you're no longer restricted by random case opening mechanisms. Now, you are able to pick any of the cells containing skins and actually determine what you win. Use the promo code and dive right in.
Did you know that when you make a trade on CS Money website, there is much more going on than meets the eye? The adventure begins here. And that's how trades are done on CS Money.
I'm a soldier, I'm a fighter. You can't burn me, I'm the igniter. Gonna be a legend, gonna take it all. Watch me crush it like a wrecking